What is going on, you guys? Today is the day where we install our Kooks 1 7/8 inch long tube headers. Now, this is going to be a very long process, and this is going to require some blood, sweat, and tears. But I will keep you guys updated through the process, through the hardest parts. We just did Dark 5.0's Longtube Corsa headers like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Driver side, fairly simple, was basically straightforward. He did that while I went ahead and did the passenger side. So the main issue you really have is the passenger side. It's going to be the hardest side to get to, but I will show you guys the best ways to get to that. So let's go ahead and get this car jacked up and then we'll get started. Alright, you guys, so we went ahead, we started off with the easy stuff, jacked the car up. We went ahead, we got the stock cap back off right there, disconnected the active part of it. Now, for inside the engine bay, we went ahead and removed the engine cover, of course, removed the strut tower brace as well over there, and then we went ahead and removed the stock airbox. We took it as one piece. You can see right there, you don't need to take it out into 2 or 3 pieces. If you wanted to, you can though. So basically what we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and start on the passenger side. Now, I don't know if you guys could see that bolt all the way down there. It's like way hidden. Let me see if I get a view on it. But it's way in there. I think my camera's pointing at it right now. Underneath the car, you can see it. But basically, what you want to do, definitely get some WD-40 on it. You're going to probably need some type of PB blaster, rust penetrating, something that'll help loosen that bolt. That bolt is going to be very difficult to get to. And on top of it being very difficult to get to, it is going to be very hard to get to. Now, what we're going to use is we're going to use a 3/8 ratchet. On top of a 3/8 ratchet, we're going to use a bunch of extensions with a swivel at the end. But what we have here, went to Home Depot and picked up this converter here. Basically, it's a 3/8, or it's a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. What we're going to do with that is we're going to connect our 1/2 inch ratchet to our 3/8 extensions, and then we're going to hopefully get that bolt out. You're going to need a lot of torque and a lot of power. It's gonna definitely take some work, and then we're going to go ahead and get the motor mount out right after that. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so we did just go ahead and break that bolt loose. Let me see if I can get a view on it from underneath the vehicle now. It is that bolt right there, guys. That one. Now, it was really tough to get off, so basically here's my setup here. I have a 1/2 inch ratchet with a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, and then I have pretty extensive extensions here. And you definitely want to use a swivel, and without a doubt, a 3/8 15mm socket. The reason is because the 1/2 inch 15mm socket is too long, and it won't sit on it properly, and you basically won't be able to get that bolt. Now, also, I couldn't get it by hand, so I did have this pipe lying around. I put it on the end of the ratchet and I went ahead and broke it off. It did make a loud snap noise, but didn't break anything. You're not going to break anything if that's just that bolt breaking loose there. So, now with that done, let's go ahead and finish getting off the rest of the main exhaust parts, and then we can go ahead and start on the headers. Alright, you guys, it is now the next morning. Decided to stop last night. It got really late, and I just got too tired doing this. So we went ahead, we got the passenger side out first, like I said we were gonna do. Got the stock manifold out right here, and basically, now this was a pain, man. Once you get the bolts, I'll show you the kind of tools that I used. I used a 15mm ratcheting wrench, a 3/8 socket to a couple extensions, and then a swivel to a 15mm socket. And then this electric 3/8 ratchet helped so much, especially. Then once you go ahead and get the bolts off for the manifold, you're basically going to want to remove the studs as well, and it's almost impossible to get it out without removing the studs. So what I used was a 1/4 inch drive and a 1/4 socket, and basically I left the 2 studs all the way in the back on, and I took out the other 6 up front. So 2 studs were left up front, and then the other 6 were removed, and that is what allowed me to get the manifold out. On top of raising the engine, I put a jack underneath there to raise the engine up, so that way give you at least a little bit of clearance to work with. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the O2 sensors, and then we are going to go ahead and swap it into the new set of headers, and then we'll go ahead and install it, and then I'll get back to you guys when we're about to do the driver's side. Okay, so we just finished the passenger header. All the way in there. Now, not sure if you could see it there, but it's there, I promise. There is 8 bolts for each side. There was 1 bolt I was not able to get to because I do not have a quarter size wrench. So what I did is I left that bolt in there. So if you're looking at it from this position, it's going to be closest to you at the bottom. That's the bolt that I couldn't get off. There was something in the way. I couldn't see exactly what it is, nor can I see what it is right now. But something was blocking that bolt, so I left that in, and I basically used that as an alignment, then put the header on top of that, and then basically put all 7 bolts in. So when I finish this install, I should have an extra bolt, and it's right there. So that's the extra bolt I'm gonna have. I wasn't able to get it in there just because of that metal piece being in the way. But we are on the driver's side now. The driver's side is so much easier. You can see every single bolt, and you basically have a straight shot for it. I don't think I need any swivels at all, which is the best part. Also, one of the best tools to have is an electric ratchet. This right now is just saving my life. It is taking so much pressure off taking off these bolts, and it's making it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get this installed. And other than that, we should be good. All right, guys, we have just finished up the install. We got the cat back reconnected again, and we got the active exhaust plug set back in. We went ahead and raised our mid pipes, and all we have to do is just zip tie our O2 sensor cables. Other than that, all we have to do is get the vehicle started and get a cold start for you guys. Now, one thing to mention is do not forget to reconnect your motor mounts and your starter, and of course, you know, your intake and whatever else, if you had a short tower brace, all that stuff, if you want to put all that back on. But those are the 2 main things before lowering the engine. Make sure you do not forget those motor mounts, or else you're going to be sitting on, and I think your oil pan gets in the way or something like that. But yeah, and don't forget the starter, because then your car is not going to start. But let's go ahead and just finish buttoning everything up, get the battery reconnected again, and then we'll go ahead and give you guys a cold start. So startup was a little louder than expected, but the car sounds amazing right now. So right now we're just sitting at idle. I'm waiting for the car to warm up so I can give you guys some revs and show you guys how loud it really is. But overall at idle still, with active exhaust in track mode, so the valves are completely open, it's still pretty quiet, which is pretty nice, which is what I like sitting at idle. And then based on just those 2 quick revs I gave, it sounds like it's about to get much louder. So let's see what it sounds like once it's warmed up. Alright you guys, so that goes to show you one person on jacks can do a header install. No, it's not easy, no, it's not fun, yes, it's annoying, and yes, it's a huge pain. And honestly, I don't know if I'd ever want to do that by myself again. But it's definitely possible. Just make sure you have the right tools, lots of extensions, lots of swivels, and definitely something I'll put in the description for you is a link to a semi-deep socket. I noticed that was extremely helpful, especially once the headers go in. It's hard to get the motor mounts back on without that socket. I mean, you can use a wrench, but other than that, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.